It was great. You obviously clicked on this because you either have already watched the movie and want to see what I have to say for it, or you really don't care for spoilers and you're that itching for news that you want to hear what I have to say about it. And it was great. Now, one thing I do have to mention, if you're going to go watch it in theaters, please be wary that the fans will be a fucking nuisance. I could not sometimes hear portions of the episode because of you people like you. Not like me. I just got off work to go watch that. I was very tired and I wanted to enjoy it. Well, I keep having fucking stinky, smelly retards in my fucking nose. Now that that's out of the way, let's get into it. There's going to be spoilers, a lot of spoilers. And I want to make that evidently clear right now. I don't want to be I have enough respect to say I understand there's a lot of people who try to stay away from the spoilers like I did. I got spoiled a couple things. But I have enough respect to understand that people who kind of are interested, but if you are interested, there's going to be spoilers. That being said, that was your last warning. Here we go. Jax abstracts. We all saw it coming. That was the whole whoop that Jax was going to be a major point in this episode. The way they did it was not some grandiose thing. It goes... I'm already jumping too far. Let me reel it back in. It picks up right off from the last episode. They're talking with Kinger. How did you fucking kill Kane? Well, all this nonsense. Jax gets upset and storms off. The whole group is fucking distraught. Kinger had mentioned that I saw files, the mind scan files that were said obsolete. Those mind scan files are exactly what you thought. And we knew the fate of these people way long ago, back when we were dealing with the fake Abel. Well, that's important. So... the mind scan files are exactly what you think. They put the headset on. It took a screenshot of their psyche. And when they're like, huh, that's weird. When Abel had mentioned that there was or you see the blueprint with everything, you guys, the theory of them not being real was true. Okay, so the episode already tells you you're stuck. The episode tells you in the beginning there is no way out. So there's a sense of dread. It sets in very, very well. Rest of the episode, I kid you not, is trying to find meaningfulness in nothingness. And it's a really interesting way of going about it. I really do like the attempt that they tried going for the meaning of the overall plot, but there's problems. I have major problems with it. It pretty much just tries solidifying everybody's relation. We knew that Pomni and Ragatha had a very special relationship between each other because they were the first two to come in contact. She was the first one that actually, melded with Pomni. It was good. The Kinger. So, ignoring the relationship shit, they pretty much went down the path of being able to conjure shit, how Kinger said in the last episode, and they just could build shit now. Once Kane was gone, they could build shit. Just like a Gmod menu, just boop, it's right fucking there, and they could just wobbly fucking finagle this thing and manipulate it. So time passes, they teach everybody how to do it. And one day, while Pomni's just fucking doing shit and placing blocks and cubes in places, Jax comes up, looks like he's gonna say something, doesn't. It cuts. Oh no, excuse me. There's a monologue of Pomni saying, "Oh, I should have pried more." And then it's a fucking abstract monster. Jax abstracts, like I said. It's not grandiose. It's literally just cut and you see him running around. That's it. What the fuck? Whatever. More emotional monologue. Not to say it's not important, but it's just kind of going back and forth. Like, this is a very touchy episode, a very emotionally touchy episode for the crew. My problem with it is it drove so hard the entire series, Jax being something special, which he does end up to be a very important piece in this episode, but it's not in the way that you think. They drove so hard that Jax's back story was bad, and it was. When Jax abstracts, Pomni isolates him, gets him into a place where they're dark. Apparently the darkness soothes everybody in the circus, and not just Kinger, even the monsters, the same way Kinger mentioned that he was almost able to speak with his wife when she was abstracted, like she was there. It's because they can. Pomni effectively, like Mario 64 portal jumps into fucking Jax's abstracted variant and sees doors, their personalities. One of them's like a psycho killer. The other one, I shit you not, is a fucking femboy that says the fucking F slur in the episode. I shit you not. This is a real thing. They censor it, but he says the F slur. It was fucking awesome. There's another one with a room full of these personalities. And one of the so it's like a feminine version, like a psycho, and a more cartoony one, and then one chained up to a piano who's like super melancholy. Not melancholy, like super reserved. Whatever, the interaction goes about, and there's a door right next to him inside that room. That door, it puts you through a whole flashback of Jax's life, including the real life that he lived. We learn that his relationship with Froggy. We learn his relationship with Kaufmo. We see the clips of of his memories that he saw from the house and the truck and all that. To put it a very long story short, he had a very bad family life. Very bad family life. Dad was a piece of shit, and his mom was a manipulative piece of shit. And he was stuck in the middle. Gets in an argument with his mom, pushes her. She hits her head, didn't get up. He panics, ran, stole the truck or some shit. And then I guess he came across a headset somewhere. So he ends up being homeless. He was homeless. You learn all this between an interaction between him and Froggy. And, you know, she's just like, she's obviously distraught. Like, hey, this guy might have just killed his fucking mom. So her words are, well, if the police didn't come after you, I guess you're fine. Like, are we serious? This is the writing we went with? I understand the whole thing was meant to be like, this is a very emotionally heavy and charged moment. So it's, and even for my own personal reasons, it was very heavily charged. I've never had the emotional attachment to any sort of, I guess, what's it called? Narrative dump. Shut the fuck up. I've never had the sort of reaction or attachment to a narrative dump that I ever had with a character in any sort of media ever, apart from Jax's dump, in which I've hated Jax's character for the longest time. But that moment really hooks you, and I had my own personal hook in me, and that's its own thing. But, you know, moving on. So from there, it keeps going. It's like flashbacks. It's like a TV, like dialing in on new channels. You see more and more flashbacks. It keeps going further. And between Jax, Kaufmo, and Ribbit, Ribbit tries to address him the next day and goes like, hey, about yesterday. And he goes, what are you talking about? Now it starts to kind of connect the dots on the old personality theory for Jax, that the eyes were different personalities, because that's exactly what it was. Jax's, those doors that were in the fucking abstracted monster were different personalities of Jax that for some reason could just take place. It for whatever reason it is, that's what it was. He just had multiple individuals within him. The big eyes one was the psycho. The fucking more squared, like rectangular ones was the feminine one. The more curvy eyed one was the cartoonish one, and the square eyes is Jax. When he just has the regular square eyes, that's Jax. That's the actual individual. But so it starts hammering down that the personality theory was true. So it goes from him kind of disassociating with Froggy a little bit to outright ignoring her to outright like being rude to her and all these other things. And I really like the way they progress it, because the way they progress it with Froggy is the exact same way it went down with Bomni. And the exact same way we saw it go out through the entire series. Whole kit and caboodle goes down, and, you know, whatever. We get to the present day of his memories. We see Pomni, and it stops there. Pomni ends up seeing Jax within this void, effectively, like this black area. It's the last remnant of Jax. He's saying, like, you know, he's scared, he doesn't want to leave. It's the last remedy. He's aware he's abstracting. And then when, I guess, it was the most random thing. What sets off the whole reaction of, like, him actually dying, so to speak, was the fucking abstraction monster no-clipping with a frag. I shit you not. It was a flashbang. And it just fucking, like, make Gmod noise. And it sets off Jax. And then they pull fucking Pomni out. And they're like, we're not going to let you die. And then she's like, tainted and shit with like the abstraction shit, like in the first episode with Ragatha. Whatever, that happens. They secure Jax in a tent that keeps him sane. It's dark, so he can calm down. Whatever, they keep him there. Like they allude to certain things that it's possible to save abstractions, and that's why they kept them. And it actually has a very interesting detail where the darkness actually does soothe these abstractions. Kane built the cellar dark on purpose. You can kind of see where the interesting storytelling rises from there. Whatever. Going past that, right? This is where shit gets really weird. So from then on, you know, they're building the circus back to what it is. They have the ability to now conjure shit. They're effectively like in fucking Gmod menu, just spawning shit and making their lives more comfortable. Then Kane is just right there, just watching from afar. I couldn't hear what he said because you fucking retards in that theater wouldn't shut the fuck up. But he whispers something, and then it cuts back to him in the void. He's like distraught, and he's looking at an empty bubble. It's just a bubble with no face. It's meant to be bubble, but with no face. And he's like, I really fucked this up, blah, blah, blah. He's like having a fucking mental breakdown, and he just collapses. And then it flashes the little sequence that we saw in episode 8 with the red dot and the blue dot. It flashes the red dot, obviously confirming. We knew that was meant to be him. And it's just him floating through digital space. Long time. Like, there's data passing by him that looks like stars, planets, whatever. Eventually, he gets to a point where he sees a door. You don't really see what's on the door, but there's something written on it. He tries chasing it, and it gets further. He gives up something of himself, and then he's able to run after it, but he loses parts of his powers. So he gives up something. He loses parts of his powers. He can't fly now. And then he gets to a ledge, and he just starts spawning, like, abstract structures or abstract shapes. They fall into this void. He spawns a regular shape, a very conformed shape, and it works. It fit. It holds. He's able to use it like staircases. Whatever. It's pretty much seeing the stabilization of Kane's AI. That's like what it's meant to be. Instead of it being like kind of wanky, it's him stabilizing himself. And the door actually says Blue Street Wi-Fi access. And on the and it keeps swapping between like that one sequence we saw in episode 8 at the beginning and him actually going through this. It's the mind file scans, and then he's actually seeing a door that says Blue Street Wi-Fi access or some shit like that. And when he opens it, it shows him the names of everybody. Abigail, Grant, Mike, Bobby or some shit like that. Mike is Scratch, the fucking main guy, which unfortunately just leave up in the air. It's annoying, but we really don't learn much about Scratch. It's just that he fucking made the circus and he's the main guy. We learn all their names. I'm not going to bother going through fucking like Twitter and all that to look for leaks and shit of their names, but we get Grant, Abigail, a couple others. Susie is Ragatha, and I can't remember the others, but we get all their names. And he has limited time on the internet to just search everything up, and he learns as much as he can about them. They're humans that are still out there. They're still living. He got to see them, the people that he has effectively kept in a cage. Whatever, once the Wi-Fi effectively runs out, he gets zipped all the way back. And he's like, we can't do this. He's alone, man. He says, we can't do this anymore. Snaps, and it's Abel speaking. Where we've seen him with the glitched eyes before, those glitched eyes were Abel. Not Kane just losing his shit. The whole underlying theory that Abel was the good guy and Kane was the reckless AI is actually flipped on its head. I kind of saw it coming because I realized I think they're trying to make Abel seem a lot worse than he is. Whatever. Or seem a lot seem a lot worse than he is. So Abel was the one who lost his shit. He was the one that made Kane extract, quote unquote. He was the one that would make him do all these violent things. He was the psycho of Kane. So he quite literally reaches into his fucking head, pulls out a blue dot, like we saw in the sequence in episode 8, throws it off into the void, and it fucks off. And he's like, whatever, like, this is so long, old friend, or whatever. And he flies back to the circus. Remember, the circus is just existent in the void. So he flies back to the circus. When he gets there, he's like, he's nervous. And the moon is still here, mind you. She goes, it's all right, Kane, whatever, I love you. And he goes, I never programmed you to say that. Moon just looks at him. I know. I don't like what it hints at because it's a little odd, but it's a possible that she's not AI, or if she is a whole other, or she's like not a programmed NPC. She's her own separate entity. It's a little weird. You could do theory crafting on that. Good luck. I'm not gonna fucking bother with it. You got that. But mind you, he's separated from Abel this time. Bubble is nowhere to be seen. They really try to drive it home that it's just him now. So it seems like they confirmed the theory that Bubble was Abel. That's why Bubble was also partially the reason he went fucking insane, because Abel was the reason he is psychotic. So it was tying up a lot of loose ends, which I did appreciate. He gets there and he just shows. It's so funny the way they have him approach. They're on the couch. He snaps his fingers. He cures Pomni of the ailment from the abstraction. Like, she was constantly, tainted with it. He snaps his fingers. She gets fixed. They all realize, we can't do that. What the fuck? So they all stand up. They're like, where is he? And then they do a cut shot. It's just him slowly coming into frame. And they're all like, what? And he's just like, he's like, look, I know you guys can't trust me. There's no reason for you to trust me. I've done so many wrong things to you guys. I have mistreated you guys. And there's no, I can understand it would take you forever to even, to trust me again. But I have a deal for you. I will give you guys control of the circus. Pretty much a whole deal of him being able to rebuild their trust with him, because now he has stabilized himself. He understood that what he was doing was wrong. He knew what Abel wanted to continue doing was wrong. So he ends up revoking a lot of his powers, which he still can conjure a little bit better than them, but not as great anymore as he used to. Abel was the heavy creative one, but that was also the one that was causing the pain, the suffering, all that. That was the bad AI. And it's a pretty good sequence of how it goes. We get, them rebuilding the circus. They get Kane learning the individuals themselves. We get a sequence of all of them actually together, because Kane tells them, when you guys are ready, meet me at the stage. And he made a PowerPoint representation of a voiceover using Pomni's voice to tell them how their human selves are doing. And they're all successful. Pomni got turned into a successful YouTuber. Fucking Ragatha became the successful real estate agent that she wanted to. Zubul ends up making the bar that she had mentioned talking about. In fact, we see a photo of the bar, and it's very similar to the one that we see in episode 5 or 6, whichever was the one where they're all at the bar. Gangle, it joins a design firm. Grant just had kids and shit. Like, we see Grant, which is Kinger, through his wife's page, Anne, and they have 2 kids. And you can see Grant in there. You could see all of them, and Jax actually ends up like finding a house, finding a place to live with. He got a job. He turned his life around. And I think they mentioned that again. I couldn't hear these fucking retards in that theater were speaking too loud. That his mom was okay. He didn't kill his mom, but he ends up turning his life around. It's a melancholy ending because there is no escape for them. They are there. That is it. The episode literally starts off with this is it. This is all they got. So obviously, like I'm explaining the like in a Cliff Notes style. Obviously, I'm leaving out a lot. I wanted to give you all this so that now you understand what I'm about to say. It's a very safe ending. I don't understand why it's controversial. I don't understand that. It's a very safe ending. I saw it from a mile away. And Gooseworks being like, nobody's gone this fucking right. There's been like 7 trillion fucking theories with this fucking ending. I'm sorry. Like, I've seen this fucking ending 70 fucking times on Tumblr, 172 times on Twitter, and there's 361 times on Reddit. It's a good ending. Don't get me wrong. But it wasn't the fucking crazy ending that everybody was assuming. Now, this backstory to the individuals was nice. I do appreciate that because it adds a whole different layer to it. Because if it was just, yeah, you guys can get out. Different. But it knew how simple the ending would be. They can't get out. Your mind scans. You're a screenshot of a person's psyche. there's no way out. And if you just leave it like that, that's kind of a dog shit ending. If you would have fucking built the whole episode just for it to be your mind scans, that would have been bad. This was a better route. You give so much more depth to these individuals, which one was lacking depth to begin with, Jax. And then you kill him, which was fucking, I like it. I like the style of that. You give him so much depth, and then you kill him. Well, no, you kill him, then give him all this depth. So then not that it justifies, but explains everything prior. That's one thing I can give Gooseworks, that she did mention. The second rewatch of this will be so much more enjoyable because you know everything now. And this episode does do very well on wrapping loose ends, and it doesn't make it feel like it's a narrative dump or like a bleh, here's information. It does do it a little bit rushed, I feel like, but also there was so much to cover. But it does it pretty well. I can't hate against it. My one gripe is they just left Scratch up in the air. They made Scratch seem like such a fucking god. He was so smart. He was working on something, and it was the mind scan files. But then the symbolism of him being able to split his fucking mind into 4 or 2 with the muffin, with the knife, and all this thing. It was just, he just created the circus and he made a brain scanner. And then the thing where everybody thought that Jax was Scratch somehow, dead in the water. I'm honestly kind of mad about that. I kind of wish it wasn't the case, but whatever. Yeah, it was good. It was very good. Now, I know we're kind of dragging a tad bit. My personal opinion on this, right? 100% ham and cheese. I've never, and I know it sounds cheesy, and I don't want to be written off as one of those fucking cringy TADC fans, but this episode had a lot of emotional weight for me personally because of Jax's backstory. Without getting into too much detail, there is scary similarities between what they filled in for his backstory with him and personal things I've gone through. And I mean too many things that were similar. And it's not trying to be like, oh, I'm so traumatized, blah, 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 blah. Like, I'm perfectly fine. I'm not trying to kill people in a digital realm or have like 7 different personalities split in my fucking head. But there was a lot of things in there that I was like, man, hey, that's cool. I know what that exactly is. Oh, what the fuck? Hello. Yard's open. Hello. There we go. So it was a very good episode. I will say that. And if you guys are hesitant to watch it, watch it. It's very good. But other than that, thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys next time. Bye-bye.